Hey y'all. Tap in Tuesday. Tap, tap, tap in. What's going on? I promise you, that's one of my favorite sounds. It's literally a joke behind that. It's literally a joke behind that. Hey, Ebony, what's
Hey,
going
sis.
on? It's a joke behind that, but yeah, y'all know I'm extra, so I'm gonna give it some viewers some time to come on in, come on in, come on in. Listen, if y'all ain't got y'all merch, y'all see this color changing cup? This was lime green and now it's green. The new shirts with the new logo. Come on in, y'all. I wish I had a voice like Tabitha Brown when she'd be like, "Come on in the room."
I sound like Whitney.
Not Whitney.
I sound like Whitney.
How y'all doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. Hey, Marilyn. You gonna speak? You gonna speak?
Hey, Marilyn. Marie.
So I'm gonna give everybody some time to come on in and we're gonna get started. So some love. Say hi to us in the comments so I can know who you are, so we can acknowledge you, please. On this fine Tuesday. It was really, really cold this morning. And then when I got off of work, it was kind of nice. And then I had put these pants on and my ankles are cold. But never mind that. My kids at Rogers used to they used to rid me because I used to like dress up for holidays.
For holidays?
Yeah, like I used to always theme stuff. So they used to be like, dude, you extra. And it's all about them being, silly and outside of their box. So I used to ask them like wear like Valentine's Day t-shirts and St. Patrick's Day. They was sick of me. They was sick of me.
Look, I would have been too. No.
Y'all come on in. Did y'all miss me? My first one was the 7th. I think the first one was the 7th. And then yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Better than ever.
I'm supposed to say back and better.
Listen, back and better. We got some stuff lined up. We got some announcements to make. We got some events coming up. We got some stuff.
We lit.
Listen, we lit. We are lit. We lit for the youth. We lit for our foundations. We lit for this community. So y'all just come on in. We'll give them about another 2 minutes or so. Then we'll get started. Tag somebody, share the live so they can know that Voice for the Youth is live and in charge on this Tuesday.
Tag somebody. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh Lord, how y'all getting through y'all work day? Well, y'all night this evening. What did y'all do to calm yourself down? I needed a nap. This was a long work day. This was a long Tuesday for me. So I needed like a nap. It is. It is. Are you done after this?
No, I have another one after this.
Oh wow.
Oh, so what time you done? About 9?
No, I'm done at about 11.
Oh wow.
Yeah, podcast and be popping.
They sure do. Listen, everybody want to. I think it's the light. The setting is like lights, camera, action. And I be wanting to be in that limelight, like paparazzi posse. Like I tell my kids, like, get ready.
Y'all sure did like sit there and like assume the position kind of when I was fixing y'all mic. I was like, okay, I'm important. Yeah.
Listen, assume the position. You got to be always ready. So when you see a camera go up, you ain't gotta have no action shot. You just
I got angles and stuff on the face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's get started. So, as y'all know, I'm Giovanna Gio. I am the creator behind Voice for the Youth. Tonight's topic is I don't know, should I say disturbing topic?
Good and disturbing.
It could be. I would say the topic is disturbing, especially from all the facts that we gained and what we talked over. But it's a good topic. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I know that it has been addressed multiple times in the news and, with, MPD and things like that. But like, we need to address it like as a community, as, individuals, as women, as men, as, parents. This issue, it needs to end and come to a head. So, it's a good topic tonight. Oh Lord, I'm sorry. It's a good topic tonight. But I do have my special guest. I'm going to allow her to, and not allow, I'm sorry, wrong word. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
My name is Shanika Janae, founder of Chloe Janae's Committed to Care. I assist in helping families who have children who are differently able. Myself and my mom, the co-founder, Marilyn Baldwin Guy. I'm also a funeral director apprentice at Serenity Funeral Home.
Yay. She's also my partner. We have partnered up and joined forces, Voice for the Youth and Chloe's Committed to Care, along with another partner, Ebony P. Ministries. Hey, Ebony, she is on the live right now. We have some wonderful, wonderful events coming up. So stay tuned to that. So we're going to get started. Are you ready? Okay. So tonight's topic, like I said, is worldwide, everywhere, but I think Milwaukee has definitely hit the map. We has been on the map for some years now. We definitely been on the map for some years. So we're going to talk about Milwaukee youth, of course, Voice for the Youth, and gun violence. I've seen some disturbing videos. I have, friends and family, close friends and close families who children has lost a significant amount of their friends, their close friends, acquaintance, within a short amount of time, and it's mainly due to gun violence. So that's our topic tonight. And Shanika is here to give us another aspect in regards to the gun violence that's going on in Milwaukee, and that's the funeral services, the aftermath, before the service began, and seeing the hurt and the pain and the suffering that a mother and a father or just all of the loved ones are going through, and how that takes a mental toll on an individual. So she's here to explain that aspect, and I'm here to explain, we both are here to explain the facts of what we know, from research, what we know from research, and then of course we're going to give our opinions. You guys, please give us your opinions on what y'all think. So with homicide, one thing that I'm going to say, which was a shocker to me, was how we outbeat Chicago. Like,
it's crazy.
We know that Chicago is huge. Like, it's a very large city, right? And their violence, they are heavy into gangs, right? Very heavy into gangs. And with violent crimes, if you don't know what violent crimes are, those are the murders, the manslaughters, the sexual assault, the robberies with the use of force. Those are the violent crimes. In Chicago to date is at 49% in their violent crimes. Milwaukee to date is at 73% in violent crimes. We're only 3 months in. Well, crazy. Technically 4, but we're not even halfway into the year, and we outdid Chicago, not only in violent crimes but in property crimes as well, which our most property crimes that's going on right now is car thefts, right? I think that's astounding as to why our number is so high. Our homicide rate keep going up. I just literally before we started the podcast, I was just scrolling on the news feed, and we just seen something on the south side. It was I don't know if it was a drive-by, I don't know what it was, but it was houses and cars shot up, and it was over 51 bullets. Like, it's sickening, and it's just like, well, what's going on? Yeah, Ebony, I agree. It's very crazy, because it's like, why? So I'm gonna open up with the first question as to like, why do we feel that our teenagers, our youth, are engaging or feel that the life of crime is it. Like why do they think that the life of crime is it? So let me know what y'all are thinking. Shanika, what you think? Why you think our kids are infatuated with like violence?
I would say social media probably got a lot to do with it. Social media, a lot of the artists and what they talking about in the songs, and teens just overall trying to fit in and uphold a certain image. I
Mhm.
think that got a lot to do with it.
I, for one, I always talk about music, how music influences our behavior, and it influences our emotions. So I would definitely say music, the lifestyle that the kids see these grown-ups play or the younger adults play in their music videos, or when the cameras are rolling and it's like they're not understanding that that's all for show. Like, you don't know these people outside of what's being recorded. Hey Sheena, hey Eloise. So it's like all for show. Like, I want to be just like, and that's another reason why like our drug usage in teenagers is so high as
Most
well.
definitely.
Is because of like artists. And I don't want to put all the blame on them, but it's like you lead by example in a sense, because they think it's easy money and acceptance. I agree. Easy money. I definitely agree with the easy money, because it's easier to rob and steal than to work 2 weeks for a paycheck. But as I told all of my kids before, hey Amy, that's bum activity.
It's a
That's
lot that
bum
come with
behavior.
robbing and stealing
Right.
too. So
Right. I had an individual when I was, working at the jail, who he ended up being peer pressured to rob. And he thought he was going to lose his life, but then he ended up getting 25 years in jail.
still
21
lose your
years
life.
old, when he said that I wasn't going to do it again, but he felt like he needed to do it because his friends called him a bitch ass nigga. They called him scary or whatever. And then they're out and he doing 25 years. His life stops and theirs keep going. So, and what people think is glorified and what people gravitate to. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I definitely believe that violent behavior is glorified. It's glorified in the sense that it's funny, that it's comical, that people think that you have to get beat up to be in a relationship. Like, that's all about the unhealthy relationships, right? Toxic, like toxic behavior. And people need to understand, what that looks like. And our youth think that all of that is funny. They think that all of that is cool, and it's sickening. Parents trying to be their kids' friends and not parenting. So a lot of kids seek other forms of examples of life. I agree.
That too.
I agree. But let me ask this, Marilyn, because I had this come up before. We have those sets of parents, the ones that want to live out their youthful years with their kids, because maybe they had their kids at a very young age and now like I can party with my kids, or if I can't beat them, join them. So I'm going to be your friend. What about the parents who are not being a friend and are at their like wits end on trying to parent? Like what about that? Hey Ebony, what about those type of parents?
What you mean?
So like you have the parents that are the friends, right? Then you have those stern parents that is not allowing their kids to be in the streets, and they're fighting that battle, calling the police, making, you know what I'm saying, doing all of the right steps, and they're at their wits end, but their kids are still engaging in that type of behavior. What do we call that? What is that called? Is that called a parent giving up, or a parent not giving their child to the streets?
I ain't gonna say giving up. I say not giving their child
Right.
to the streets.
I'm not giving my child to the streets. It does take a village. It does. I would say, we do have those parents. I have met those parents who are fighting for their kids and went into courtrooms like, lock him up. Don't let him out, because he's either going to be killed or going to go away for a very long time. So what do we do with those parents? What do we do with those kids? Because they are glorifying the violent behavior, the bad behavior, because they think that that's a way to be accepted. What do we do? It's a tough situation. It surely takes a village. Yep, we asked that. I definitely think that it's two sides to every story, with parenting. I truly feel, and I say this all the time when I'm talking about youth and their behaviors and things like that. Parents, it's a push-pull battle with parents and their kids' friends. If they have this friendship with these outsiders, and there's nothing wrong with your kids having friends because you want them to be social, but if their bond is much stronger with their friends, you're in a lose battle. It's like a lose battle. The system sometimes doesn't provide resources for the parents they are trying to prevent. I agree. Hey Tamika, I definitely agree. A lot of people say that jail is not the answer. The jails don't rehabilitate. um I agree to disagree in regards to the rehabilitation. Have I been to prison? No, I only worked in the corrections. But I worked inside of corrections and on the outside when I did, CPS and mental health. And there are programs, but you also have to put the effort into it. And I say this to say that if kids don't want to put in effort into regular schooling, how much effort would they put into jail programs? I mean, they'll do what they got to do. If they
Get
hear the
out.
word, you're going to get out.
Yeah,
But is that really rehabilitating?
because they just doing what they got to do to get by.
Right. And they're not looking at that aspect, well, let me do what I got to do to get by to graduate. They're looking at, let me do what I got to do to get by to get out. So that's why I say I agree to disagree in regards to like the rehabilitation and the system. Because trust me, I do believe that the system fails. I do. It fails a lot of individuals. You got something to say? Oh, you look like you got something to say. Hey, Spencer. But I
You gonna punk me? You got something to say? No.
but I do feel like, the acceptance piece, like they want to fit in. Youth want to fit in. They want a sense of belonging. And let's be honest, as adults, because it's a majority of adults on here, let's be honest, being bad is fun. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful. Although our behavior back in our teenage years was not like their behavior, but being bad is sometimes fun. It's the thrill. And they the kids say that. You got something to say, go on and say it, Spencer. I know you got something to say. And they say that it's the thrill. Have you ever did this? Have you ever did that? I have not done that, and I don't have the thought process
Right.
to do that. I don't even have
Wanna
the
do
heart
it.
to do it. My version of fun and your version of fun is something different. We didn't ride around in stolen cars. We just caught rides. Where we got on,
We got on the bus.
or we got on the bus. The bus was popping back then. If you caught the bus to the mall, you was in there.
I actually was in a stolen car once.
What did you get a thrill?
I got out.
See?
I got out. I was like, all right, I don't even know where I was. I remember it like yesterday. I was 16.
See?
And I was like, I was just like Trey and Boys in the Hood. So, let me out,
Let
though.
me out.
Let me out, though.
Let me out. Absolutely.
And they pulled over, and I somehow got home. I don't even know how I got home. I know I got on the bus, but I was just like, I can't take this no more.
The bus, or we walked.
Yeah. Well,
And they was driving around in daylight, like, hey, it's all good. Like,
But was they driving when they was driving around? They wasn't driving around erratically either. Like
no, they were very inconspicuous.
Cautious, right.
Yes. But they had a screwdriver in the ignition. That was the giveaway.
See, no, you gonna make us get pulled over. Take me to McDonald's first.
Nah.
But but we got another question. Why are guns seen as an outlet to having fun for teens? I think is what Shanika said was social media. So all you see in videos is
guns and
do, you know what I'm saying? And they have it, you know what I'm saying? You got the extended clip and all of this and all of that. And like,
talking about it.
Right. That's all they talk about. And it's a way for protection. But like I tell kids all the time, you wouldn't need a gun protection or think that you need this protection if you knew how to act or if you knew how to talk to somebody. And if you did have drama, why can't you fight?
And guns only protect you when you know how to properly use them.
Right,
A lot of these kids don't even know
right.
how to properly use them.
So it's like, why can't you fight? And another reason why, kids are
Scared
not
to take that
fighting,
L.
they scared to take the L. That's the main thing. Back in my day, hey Keisha, hey Trigina, back in my day, like I'm old, but I am, when we fought, if we lost as a girl, every time I seen you, we was gonna
We gotta
fight
fight again.
until I win. What? I'm not finna shoot you. I'm gonna fight you every time. So when I seen you at the budget at the movies, we fight. And it was like a lot of kids can't take that L. Same
The
with
embarrassment.
it's the embarrassment. It's the acceptance. Like, because going off of Marilyn's question, if I have a gun, somebody is gonna accept me because it's like, bro got a gun, he got a piece, he could come hang with us. So it's like, oh, I gotta go get a gun so I could go hang with them, or I gotta go get a knife so I can do this, so I can do that. It's all of these different forms of behaviors that are being displayed to be accepted. And that's all what it is, and Spencer said it best: monkey see, monkey do. Milwaukee is and that's all it is, because you had this one group of kids stealing, which I had majority of those kids, and a lot of those kids got sentenced and they sitting down now. I don't know if these they little cousins or what, but they going about it all wrong. But it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do, and I definitely can say misguidedness. Like, there is that even a word, misguidedness. Well, if it ain't a word, it's a word
now.
today, right? So they're not being, handled in the right way. Like, I'm a fan of like structure, and you break the rule and all of that. I'm a very big fan of structure, and you're gonna learn. Tamika said kids today are way different. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have 12-year-olds on drugs and doing what most murderers wouldn't even do or have done. But you know what I mean? It's like, and they rethink that what they did was wrong. And you have these kids who live this I don't give a F attitude, and where they should give a F. But then at the same time, it's like, why they don't care? Why they don't care about their life? How can social media be restructured to not be so misleading to our teens? I don't think that it can be.
Yeah, I don't think it can be.
Social media was created originally as a communication tool for when you had distant family and friends and you wanted to network, jobs and all of that. It's like it was created like a LinkedIn. There is no going back. No matter how many restrictions Mark Zuckerberg put on, there's no going back, unfortunately. He will have to completely start over. But that will be every social media platform, including Instagram, including Snapchat. The stuff that happens on Snapchat is outstanding. Like, I didn't even know that Snapchat does all the things that it did. I thought I had to do my own boomerang.
About that.
But it's like, and that's a very good point, Marilyn, is like, how can it be restructured? And this is just my opinion. I don't think that it can. Do you?
Either.
Do y'all think that social media can be restructured to where the violence is not put on there? Don't laugh at me. But I truly don't think that it can be restructured, because it has gotten so far gone that everybody is expecting some form of violence on there. And don't get me wrong, I've shared a fight or two in my ignorant days, but that's what we see when we go on Facebook. I definitely say that we need to share more positivity stuff, but just like lies, violence is more entertaining to our youth right now. Violence is way more entertaining to our youth right now. The one of the most common causes in Milwaukee that leads to shooting is arguments, poor conflict resolution, like we can't get over the argument, and drugs. And that is among youth. This is not adults. This fact is among youth. These is teenagers that we're talking about. 13, well, to young adults, 13 to 24. 13, the common causes of shooting in Milwaukee is arguments, poor conflict resolution. That's where they scared to take that L, or they feel disrespected. If you ain't never respected somebody, how can you feel disrespected? And then drugs. Why are 12-year-olds arguing over drugs? Why are 13-year-olds fighting over pills? Why are you engaging in that? The issue is this stuff has been going on for years. It's just truly exposed to the social media. You can't control, or reconstruction is out of control. I agree. I definitely agree that this issue has been going on for years, but I would say, Angel, which, hey, Angel, it has increased significantly, though. The violence has increased. If you think about all of your nieces and nephews who are in their 20s and 30s, Angel, their behavior was way different from these kids' behavior. There is nothing to keep these kids busy. I 100% agree. All of the programs that we had back in the day are obsolete here. Like, they are not here at all. Hey, Cassandra. I see more and more kids being brought into DT, and that's another story. Let me get this point across. Activities. A lot of and this is my opinion, and I want y'all to chime in. I want all of y'all to chime in on my opinion. My opinion to the programs, it's adults don't have the patience to work with the kids. They don't want to work with the kids. They don't want to work with the at-risk youth. They don't want to deal with the bad kids. And I feel like that with teachers, they're at their wits' end with teaching. So it's like, do what you want to do. So it's not enough push into after school programs or in school programs or, field trips to, teach them about other states and all of those things that we once had is kind of, it's over now, because nobody wants to entertain what they say are bad kids. I do. That's what I do. I don't have a problem with that, because what I feel is kids need structure. They need stern structure, and they need to know and understand you're not moving nothing. You're not moving nothing. Your attitude, whatever the case may be, you're not moving nothing. And I think we need to push more into that. We don't use that as an example. Kids raising kids and they don't experience love. I agree. I definitely think that trauma is another aspect. Dysfunctional family. We gotta put that in there. Dysfunctional family. We talked about kids raising kids, but we have to put that in there with the dysfunction of the family. Younger and younger kids are having babies, and they don't know what to do with babies. You know what I mean? Like, average age for grandmothers now is late 30s. Because they had their kids young, and it's repeated. Right. It's a repeated cycle. So most drugs come in with teens, because you have teens trying to be men of the house and provide mom, sibling, addition to the I agree. They don't know standard work ethics, because they are victims of their circumstances, Marilyn. They feel that this is all that they know. This is what they have been taught. So this is all that I'm going to do. You have to choose whether you're going to be a victim of your circumstances or a survivor of your circumstances. And our youth right now are being victims of their circumstances. They plan victims. And that's why we're talking about the gun violence. That's why our gun violence and our violent crimes are so high. And that's why Shanika has the impact that it has on family overall with all of the deaths. Like, nobody wants to see anybody in a casket, but seeing a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old dying over senseless crimes or, mishandling of a gun, that's a whole new ball game.
I think a lot of the drug usage come in too from people trying to self-medicate, like a lot of mental health, depression, and they trying to, like I said, self-medicate and like get through it or take their mind off of what's really going on. So they getting high, they drinking, they trying this, they trying that.
So I think it's a escape reality. I want to stay so high that I don't want to think.
Mhm.
I don't want to think about the fact that I don't have a daddy, or my daddy is in jail, or we ain't got no food, or what I'm saying. I don't want to think that, so I'm going to do as much drugs as I can. And let's say they don't want to think, they want to do so much drugs because they've been abused, whether it was physical, sexual, verbal, like they just don't want to. Hey Mike, hey Stevens, how you doing? Hey Quita. Kids actually love structure, but as adults want to be their friends are not getting structured discipline. I agree. I am one, and Spencer, I am one for discipline. That's one of the reasons why Voice for the Youth was created, is to provide that structure. It's also to provide that outlet, I'm sorry, for them to let their stories out, receive that support, and learn how to live a better life. You know what I mean? So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. Um, that's a whole brother. That's a whole nother topic, especially Black people. We don't truly deal with mental. I agree, and that is a
Black
whole
people
nother
most
topic.
definitely don't. Nobody
Black
want to see a
families,
therapist
African American
or-
families, and I truly believe that Wisconsin overall is behind on mental health. But as it is getting known, and as that is coming out, Black families, it's a hush hush topic. It's a you better be quiet.
Sweep
Ain't
everything
nothing
under the
wrong.
rug.
Right. Everything is swept under the rug. And if you don't agree, I respect your opinion. And this is solely my opinion. This is solely Shanika's opinion. And if you don't agree, like in Black households, if you think about you growing up with your grandparents and things like that, you better shut your mouth. Ain't nothing wrong
What
with
happened
you.
in this house, stay in this
What
house.
happens? And I've used that, but I use it in a different context though. But same with like sexual abuse. That's a form of trauma that leads kids down this road, and it's and people don't understand that. I have a lot more to say, but I definitely want to get Shanika's aspect on like the funeral services and things like that, and then we'll go back into the questions. And since we just finished off of mental health, one of the questions that I want to ask is like, how much does mental health play in a role of like the funeral home services? How it's been traumatizing for the families, the kids that come in and see their friends and things like that. How is that being, what's the effect on that?
I have
Hey,
a lot of
Jaja.
different little views or comments about that. For one, I think that when families come in, it's so many different emotions. Sometimes it's guilt, they sad, they angry, they mad, they hurt. And a lot of times the people that passed away or that they lost were the breadwinners of the family. So now you got this family that's not only are they grieving or trying to grieve, now they trying to figure out what we finna do, such and such, how we finna take care of this, how we finna take care of that. Then a lot of times they have no life insurance, so that's a whole different issue. And I figure, well, I believe that mental health comes in too. A lot like with the little kids. Man, y'all take a lot of people, fathers more so. We get mothers too, but a lot of fathers. It's hard to see little kids come in and they at the casket and they crying over their daddies, and or parents coming in and they crying over their sons and they asking why, what happened. They got a lot of questions with no answers. And I think mental health like that drives a lot of people to start drinking and doing drugs, especially like these people kids and sometimes they parents as well. A lot of people don't know how to cope or don't know how to, I don't want to say properly grieve, but like on top of trying to grieve, you got all these unanswered questions and you trying to figure out how we gonna pay for the funeral, how we gonna survive after this, and then you got, I don't know, it's a lot. It's a lot that come with it on on our aspect and what we see.
I bet, like especially the small kids and the unanswered questions, because it's always the why. Even if it's not gun violence, we always want to question like why now. But when it's a senseless death. You know what I mean? Like a senseless crime. Like he died for what? She died for what? My baby lost her life, his life, because they were sitting in the car, because they were sitting, over an argument that somebody couldn't let go. It's crazy. We got a couple of questions on here. It's a Miss Marilyn said a lot has been put in force that prevent parents from disciplining their children without parents facing consequences. I agree. Like a lot of kids will tell their parents, "You can't whip me. I'm gonna call the police." That's child abuse. That is not child abuse, right? You can discipline your child with an open hand. You can't fight them like you're, on the street, but you can discipline your child. And I think a lot of people have the wrong information when it comes to discipline. I'm a discipliner. Like I said, I like structure, but kids are putting fear in their parents' head. Like, "Oh, you're gonna go to jail." And like I tell my kids when I work with my kids, if your mother or dad go to jail right now, who paying the bills? Who gonna take care of you? It's gonna be all fun and games when mommy and daddy is in jail for like the first 2, maybe 3 days. But when food get low, ain't no more tissue, ain't no more soap, and you got other siblings or your parents lose their job and y'all don't have a house, then what? Because you want to do what you want to do, and that's a no-no. You can discipline your kids. I used to be CPS. You can discipline your kids. Okay, you can discipline them. As a former, we over medicate our kids' mental health, and parents encourage kids to act up so they can get. I agree with that. And Spencer, when I have my mental health conversation, he said that parents over medicate their kids. Parents tell their kids to act up to get a check. I agree. Go ahead.
I always thought that was a myth. That's real?
That is real.
Wow.
That is real. The more, and that's the same in like
my head exploding.
And that's the same in like foster care too. The more behaviors that a child has that is documented, the more money they may be able to get for the child.
Sad.
So, foster parents or, parents, they will say, "Oh, my kid eat boo-boo." Like all of these different behaviors, they do this, they do that. And if it's documented, if they show it, if they display it, and they prescribe medication for it, there's money in it. Like we all know that as many prescriptions as a doctor writes, you get money for it.
Did not know that. I've been in education for a long time and did not know that. Like, I've been out a couple of years, but 20 years of education. So you get paid, the families get paid?
Like check wise. So if Shanika was my daughter and she has behavior issues,
she's putting you out there to have
and she has behavior issues already. Let's say she has ADHD.
Yes.
And I don't get a check for it, but you know how people talk, and I could tell they say, "Well, have her do this, have her do that." If she goes and play actress mode and displays all of these new behaviors, and she starts it off at school, and then they recommend this, and they do
documented.
Everything is documented. So it's like I can't control her. I can't do anything with her. Help me. How am I going to take care of her? I need to work, but I can't work because she's this, and the list goes on and on and on. And then boom, pow.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna give you $3,000. What? Wait, okay, finish acting up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and does it happen a lot? Are they trying to stop it? Yes. But once again, going off of what Spencer said, if I'm over medicating my child and my child does not need that medication, what are they going to do? What tends to happen? But the systems mistreats them the worst. In what way, Jaja? In what way? And the side effects that I agree, the side effects of medication is sometimes bad. Yep, some kids would definitely tell on their parents. I definitely had that a lot. I've definitely had that a lot. So another question for Shanika: what are y'all experiences in the aftermath of like gun violence services when an individual, died by the drama and the gun violence? Like, what typically happens at that form of service?
What do you mean? What typically?
So, like say. Like today, that shooting, and it was like a rival enemy or whatever, and he died by the gun, and they had the service at your funeral home.
So for that, we've been trying to request that the police be there only because for safety for our staff as well as the family, because you don't really know who did what. A lot of times the family feels some type of way, or we don't, or sometimes they don't want the presence because then they may want to retaliate. But us as a firm, we try to get the MPD involved just so they can be around. And a lot of times I believe that it like stops individuals from retaliating at the actual service. They may retaliate later, but
right. Have you guys at your particular funeral home, have you guys had like backlash from rivals and families and like coming in? Because I've seen in Chicago where the rival person came in and made sure that the dude was dead in the casket, and him and his friends picked the casket up and took it outside and dumped his body on the street. That was in a video that I seen on Facebook. Like, Chicago is like, they're ruthless, and it's like we're beating Chicago. So it's,
wow.
So you know what I mean? So like, have you guys ever had like rival, their enemies come in and, show up, and the family know that they're the enemies, and like, that's a whole nother form of drama.
So of course everybody know we had the shooting. It had nothing to do with the funeral home. I'm not sure what it had to do with. I'm guessing perhaps some type of rival. But yeah, that's pretty much the only other drama that I can say that we have is amongst family or baby mamas or just personal issues. Nothing too much to where we're certain that it was the rivals or the people that did it and they came to retaliate.
Okay. I can definitely like, and that happens like with certain families and things like that, with the drama and things like that. But like the disrespect though, like they already are gone. But like for you to come up to any service, any funeral service, anything like that, and be disrespectful, right, of the dead or the innocent people that is there, like that's a lack of compassion. It is, like I said, like very disrespectful. Going back to what Jaja said when she said the system makes people worse. People talk to their kids crazy instead of trying to see why they are there and trying to get them to see things in a positive manner than in a negative. And you have a better understanding of said redirecting. They are saying trigger words that cause an upward. I agree. I definitely feel like everybody can't handle mental health properly, can't calm an individual down, especially kids. Everybody are not, I'm not even going to say trained. Everybody can't handle when a kid is a teenager is having an outburst. And it could be an outburst of many, many different things. Marilyn said we had a shooting at the funeral home and personal issues, big drama. Most times funeral homes aren't aware of this, but when we do, we know, and we try our best to be safe. Absolutely. And that's all we can do, because even now with the gun violence and the violent crimes being at a high right now, everywhere we go, we got to be safe now. Even driving, like everybody says this, like when the light turns green, you gotta wait.
You gotta wait, yeah.
You gotta wait because you have to wait. Do you guys ever? This is a question for you, Shanika. Do you guys ever request a family to have private service when these matters arise?
Yes, we do. Sometimes it's hard because certain people, they may know a lot of people, so they want everybody to be a part. But we have had quite a few services that are private and only the family comes. We don't post these services, or we don't make them known to the public. But we do have private services, or sometimes we tell the family, if you choose us as a firm, the service has to be private, depending on what happens or what MPD is saying. But yeah, we do.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And it's good, and then it's sad at the same time. I mean, it's a preventative measure, but it's sad at the same time, to where I can't, in a sense, celebrate or put my child or my loved one away in a proper manner of how it should be, due to violence, due to gun violence. And a lot of people say, well, like, what are some preventative measures? What can we do? What can we do? Like we said, if you are just tuning in to the live, tonight's topic is Milwaukee youth and gun violence. We have a special guest, Shanika Janae. She's a funeral director. I'm apprentice. I'm sorry, apprentice. You're gonna be a director, okay? We're gonna be running stuff.
Can I get a quick? I need to put a quick plug in. Thank you for being an apprentice. I am actually one of the directors for the youth apprenticeship program for the state. So pushing that to be something that kids in high school are looking towards instead of always going straight thinking that college is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Look into apprenticeships because MPS has them available for people, and it's the best known little secret in the city.
So, okay. We don't have to connect.
That's dope. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. But so, like, what are the preventative measures? Like I said, this gun violence in Milwaukee has been on the news and has been talked about for months because, like I said, year to date from 2020, we were at 190 homicides. 2021, 193. 2022, we are at 93. And I did this research about 2-3 days ago. If anybody has died in between that time, we're in the hundreds, and we're only three months in. I couldn't imagine laying to rest young kids, babies. Do your mental health ever get affected?
It does often, but I knew somebody's gonna ask something like that. You have to. I don't want to say I got used to it, but you have to separate work from home. You can't take work home with you. And then I lost my daughter, Chloe Janae, 9 years old. So even from then, like I just have a different outlook on stuff. Like now I notice myself getting more emotional, like when I'm servicing families, because now it's like, wow, I could really relate. Like firsthand, I understand or I feel what y'all are going through. But yeah, kids, I think kids should be off limits. So yeah, it gets real emotional when we have to bury kids.
And then it's like definitely kids are off limits, but then you have the individuals who have these guns and own these guns and steal these guns and they don't know how to use them. You're missing your whole entire target 16 times. You didn't let off 9 bullets and didn't hit that person not one time, but you hit everything around you. And now look at the aftermath of that. How do you handle that? Like, what, how can you come from that? Miss Ebony said people need to really have a sit down and talk about guns. There's a difference between protecting yourself and violence. I agree. People with CCW, they take the course and things like that, but I don't feel, and this is once again my opinion, that they truly, truly understand like the ramification behind that, the law behind CCW and protecting yourself and just using it like, oh, because I'm CCC certified. And you know what I mean? It's just like, you need to know what you're doing, because next thing you know, you locked up for manslaughter, felony murder, homicide. And then you like, but I have my CCW. Exactly. You need to know everything that goes with it.
And even if you are certified, like they don't show you how to really properly use a gun in the classes. You need to go to the range often. You need to become familiar with firearms and how to properly use them or properly store them.
And like I used to ask the kids at the hospital, the behavioral hospital, like when they talk about guns and, extended clips and all of this and all of that. And I used to ask them like, well, do you know how to clean it? What I need to clean it for? Do you know where's the second serial number at? Well, I scrape off the first one. Where's the second one though? Like, you know what I mean? Like all of those questions, like y'all are getting yourself, kids, teenagers, youth are getting themselves involved in things because of, once again, all of the things that we have identified, and then they're still dumb to the fact. It's like they're dumb to the fact, and it's like, who educates them? It's like it's funding out there, but once again, it goes along with the funding. Who's going to do it? Who is willing to do it? Like that's the one of the preventative measures. Who is going to do it? Everybody say, well, the parents. If they're not listening to the parents, who's gonna do it? Somebody answer that. If they're not listening to the parents, who's gonna do it? Angel said the streets. That's who been doing it. The streets been doing it, and look what's been happening. They're still dumbfounded, in my opinion. I mean, if some, you got some smart criminals out there, but you ain't too smart if you're a criminal. Right? You ain't too smart if you're a criminal. The streets are definitely raising these kids, and these kids are a lost cause if they continue to rely on the streets. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but once again, a lot of people place the blame on the parents. Parents plays a huge significant role because it is their kids. It is their kids. But once again, what about the parents who are not giving their kids to the streets and trying everything and doing everything and pushing for all of this stuff? What about those parents? And once again, what about those kids who are just doing stuff for monkey see, monkey do, as Spencer would say? And I want to be accepted. What do we do about those? What's the preventative measures in regards to that? Hey, Jeremiah, thank you.
I think too, like a lot of these kids are looking at a lot of the known people in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee rappers, the tattoo artists, like the people that's out driving the fancy cars, wearing all the jewelry, always doing they just always out and on the scene. I think if we can get those individuals to kind of help with our youth, since that's who they're looking up to, I think that we can possibly touch a lot of young men and women if we can get help from the community and the people that they're looking up to.
I agree because a lot of those individuals definitely change their mindset. I mean, people do get tired of going to jail. They do get tired of going to prison. They do get tired of being, watchful over their shoulders and creating enemies. And, there's a lot of jealousy among individuals. Where are we at with mentorships in Milwaukee? I don't know. I'm a mentor. Shanika, are you willing to be a mentor of some teenagers? Let's create a whole nother mentorship. I mean, I think, once again, Marilyn said, it takes a village to raise a child. It truly does. And I think with these teenagers, it's gonna take a whole
couple villages.
It's gonna be a couple of villages, but you have to want to do it though. You have to want to deter. And going off of what you said with, the Milwaukee rappers and, all of the popular individuals, have them speak to the kids and let them know, they did. And this is I'm taking a quote from a song. They did a lot of shit to live this here lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that lifestyle that they lived, they don't want to live it anymore.
And plus the way, I ain't gonna say y'all, or the way that they grew up, the streets was different then.
Absolutely.
Versus how they are now.
Absolutely. So the lifestyle that these kids want is all materialistic and fame. What happens after fame, or what happens in the search of fame and popularity? You're going to have to continuously do stuff to be known. And they don't understand that, but they do understand it because that's why their behaviors have increased. That's why it went from stealing cars to creating gangs of stealing cars in certain cars. Then it became these same individuals or a new group that ride around, steal cars, and now they got guns. Right, now we all competing. So it's just like a repeated cycle because our kids want to stay relevant. They want to be relevant. Same with like a hairstyle, getting new shoes and new clothes. You want to be seen. They want to be seen. They desperately want to be seen. We got a question on the CCW. Should it only be distributed to certain age group, homeowners, and business? I mean, it's already restricted on like felons and things like that.
Felons got guns.
Your felons do got I don't know. That's a really good question, Stanley. That's Thomas. Stanley Thomas. It's gonna be a fast. I don't know. That's a good question. Like, should it only be to a certain age group? What age group would it be then? Because you got ignorance in every age group. Yeah. So I don't even think an age group would matter because you have old heads trying to be young heads. You know what I mean? So I don't even think an age group would matter. But that's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that. Our kids are targeted and purposely being steered in the wrong direction. We heighten the wrong parts of us. I agree. Everyone wants to be a rapper or a basketball player. And that's because that's all.
Image.
Yeah, it's the image, and that's what all people say about African Americans. Oh, you tall, you gonna be a basketball player. Oh, you run faster. You gonna be a track star. Oh, you skinny, you gonna be a model. Those are the only identifiers that people get. And it's like, well, he gonna be a rapper. He wear and that's a stigma. It's a stigma. It's five boys in the mall. They're gonna cause ruckus because it's five of them in a group and they got on hoodies. It's a stigma. And people, these kids, these teenagers are living up to that stigma. And nobody, and I agree with you, Spencer, that they're being targeted and nobody is like stopping it. Where does faith play a role, if any, with saving our teens? I don't think that it does. Hey, Juanita. Hey, Casey. Faith, like it's religion. I don't think that it does. I don't think that it does. I don't think enough people believe. I'm not gonna say that they don't believe in God, or they, I don't think enough have the faith. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think enough.
Can you have faith and not care?
Ooh. Can you have faith and not care?
Is that so much faith that you don't care? Like
not caring, like what manner?
Right. Well, to me, as an old man, it appears that the death is not feared. So they just have like a kind of nonchalantness to the fact that you might just die doing some of this craziness.
Yeah. Now I get what you're saying.
I mean, but if you don't care,
right?
It's like almost like I'll be okay. Like I'm going to heaven anyway, or I mean, I don't know. I'm just making this up on the fly right here, but that's what I'm thinking.
So I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily. I think it's the exterior. I don't care with kids and losing loved ones or being hurt or not guided properly or the mistrust from an adult or a close person. So take the death, for instance. That's traumatizing to them. Losing. I have a very close family member to me. He's a teenager. He lost 13 friends in a 6-month span, all of them under the age of 18. He may have that I don't care attitude, but how does that individual feel in the inside? Exterior versus interior is very different. So I don't care that he's dead. I don't care that I died, but true enough, you care.
I'm going to flip it and take another step. I care because if they die, I can get on social media and be sad and act like I am way more sadder than I am.
Absolutely. For
attention.
Absolutely.
Because they don't care. Like all of a sudden you care when you discharged from a car and lay on the ground. Oh, my homie on there. Oh, he dead.
Yeah.
But fam, you was just hyping him up like, oh yeah, you
take my one.
Right. Dog, snap it.
Yeah.
I see it all the time.
Right.
Dog clowning on there, get hyping him up alive. And now he dead. Oh, my homie dead. He didn't have to die. He probably was supposed to if he go drive like that.
Right. And then it's one of the things, and one of they say things, they ain't even have to do bro like that.
And then it's like y'all post all that, y'all go to the funeral, y'all mourn for the moment or whatever, but then y'all go back and do the same stuff.
Go back and do the same behavior. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, the preventative measure to that. When this horrific incident happens and they go back to the same behavior, how do we deter that? Is that where mentorships come in at? Like, how do we figure that out? It would be nice if churches pour more resources into their community. What type of resources?
That churches, like, that would be nice, but I don't know, not to judge people or youth today, but a lot of youth or parents now, you're not even brought up in church to know about faith, to know about God, to know about this or that. So a lot of kids don't even God and faith and all that, they don't care because they
Right.
weren't brought up like that. Like they probably heard about God, know a little about him, but they didn't have to go to church for Bible study and Sunday school.
Mhm.
And so
But it's almost like an ultimatum when they some churches, I'm not saying all, some churches do have resources, but in order to get them, you have to be a part of the church. Or
Right,
come
you
to
have
the
to be a
church.
member.
There's
and
like
that's
a
discouraging.
right. There's
Mhm.
a give or take there, and so if you're giving resources, you give resources because they're needed, and just have
Right,
them
it's
out
like
there.
a
Mhm.
pantry, like a food pantry. You
Exactly.
give
Mhm.
to whoever
Exactly.
who needs it. I agree. I would agree to that. Um, and a lot of times, like with our youth, they feel, oh, she just old and she's talking crazy, man. Oh, but no,
Mhm.
I'm God. I've have had kids say that they're
Mhm.
God, bro. No, you're not. You're not God. Like you have no idea. But then when you feel that hurt, that pain, and that rejection, it's why me, God. But you was just God.
And
You
so
know
a
what I
lot of
mean?
kids, I think, are unlearned. They don't.
Right. Right. They don't have the knowledge. Um Next question. How has COVID played on our gun violence?
Listen, COVID was so depressing. We had to stay in the house, couldn't be around our family, couldn't go here. Everything was closed. I think a lot of mental health problems came in that way too, because it caused a lot of people to go into depression. Then you had people that, I'm sure a lot of people lost their jobs. Then you had parents trying to homeschool. If you lost your
Mhm.
job and you trying to homeschool, or you working from home and you trying to homeschool as well, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people just got overwhelmed or
Mhm.
depressed and anxious, and now you trying to figure everything out, and you confined in the house all day every day. And kids can be a lot, so you trying to work, you on the phone
Mhm.
trying to work, you trying to do school, you trying to feed the kids, you trying to do this.
Right.
Like now you see how them teachers was feeling.
Mhm. And
Like
it's
I think that probably drove a lot of people to drinking more and doing more drugs because they didn't have nothing else to do, and they were trying to self-medicate. And yeah, COVID, I
yeah.
think COVID had a lot to do with it, and a lot of suicides. And
Yes. I do know that during the start of the pandemic, when we got well into the pandemic, um, the domestic violence rate went up. Um, Child abuse went up. There were a significant increase with removal of children from their homes. And once again, like mental health definitely probably played a role in that. And then when it comes to like teenagers, they were bored.
Mhm.
They were bored. And it's like, what can we do? And they did a lot. Like, they online schooling. I mean, of course, schooling needed to happen, and MPS and everybody made it do what it do, to keep kids, learning and things like that. But I think that with COVID and the kids being home 24/7, that definitely put an increase in negative behaviors.
Mhm.
Um, because we should lose Atkinson didn't play that. A good majority were already on the brink before COVID. I agree. I agree. Trauma is very real, and I definitely agree that um, people were at their last string, like they were, that last nerve, and then boom, COVID hit, and everybody life changed.
Mhm.
Everybody life changed, and I think all of these all of these problems just came on more and stronger. But yeah, I definitely think that the pandemic increased negative behaviors in our teenagers to where they found their version of fun. And their version of fun was something not even magnificent. It was something horrific, in my opinion. Um, you got anything else?
Um, as far as what did you just say? As far as I think COVID was somewhat to a reality check, because now it's like, I don't want to say you're stuck in the house, but you're in the house with your kids all day and your family all day. So now it's like, I think if you take the good out of it, it gave you time to build bonds and relationships with your kids and your families. But at the same time, if this not something that you were already used to, it caused confusion and problems, because now it's like, what do I do with my kids, or how, like, we just all stuck together, everybody getting frustrated. We don't really know each other how we thought we did. And
yes,
so
I agree. And it's like, you act like this at school?
yeah.
I know you don't act like this at school. And now you see why them phone calls wasn't pointless.
Like, yeah, your kid was acting like that for real.
And it's as a former educator, COVID forced kids to work and kids started choosing quick money. I agree. I would definitely agree. I've had a lot of kids decide, like, well, I'm 15, I can just go to work and put school on the back burner. I agree. That definitely has happened, and now they deter from school. So we laid out some facts. Y'all gave us some excellent feedback. I truly appreciate it. If you have more questions in regards to if you have more questions for myself or for Shanika, please reach out to us. You can DM us. Like I said, we are partners, trying to do great things in the community, trying to reintroduce children to being a kid again. Like, why so serious? You know what I mean? So we're out here trying our best. So if you want to link up and do something, holler at us. Let us know. Tap In Tuesday. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Tomorrow is Resource Wednesday. So if you have a resource, some information that you want to share, please share it on the youth page. If you don't follow the youth page already, ask to join, or I'll send you the link. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It was a good talk. I appreciate it. Yes. Hand clap. Thanks to my special guest, Miss Shanika. Like I said, if you guys have any questions regarding this topic, any questions regarding, funeral home services and, knowing the whole process, reach out to her. When do y'all broadcast that? I broadcast twice a month. Miss Shanika will start her own podcast, so we'll keep you guys updated with that. So she'll be starting her own. And I do it, Spencer, twice a month. So yeah, I'll text you and let you know. Go ahead.
So in reference to funerals, I encourage everybody to invest in insurance, life insurance. It's a great investment. Nobody's too young. Invest in life insurance. GoFundMe is not life insurance. I'm not against it, but invest in life insurance. I'll invest in everything else.
Because I did check mine last week, and I have a term life insurance that terms out in 3 more years. So I was like, wait, so after it terms out, I ain't got no more life insurance. So I have to switch it to a whole.
Yeah. So make sure you get whole life insurance. It ain't just accidental. Ask questions. Make sure it's gonna cover you for your entire life. Invest in life insurance for you and your babies.
And if you don't understand, like, the whole mumbo jumbo in life insurance, ask questions. There's no sign stuff and get to paying your premium. Ask questions. If you don't know, ask. Don't be embarrassed. But yes, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.